So in terms of JonesDAO, what would you say your moat is? Like in terms of what protects you from like someone just doing a fork and creating something completely similar.
Well, I think the first problem that they're going to have is that a lot of the stuff that we build is kind of difficult to run in parallel with us. I mean, look, if we're buying up all the ETH options that are out there, and there isn't that much more ETH options, and we've got a bot that's doing all the buying because of the meta vaults, it's kind of hard to have somebody come in and say, "All right, we'll also buy the options." Okay, so you'll buy the options, but you have to have enough folks that are LPing with you to do that. I mean, when we built out JGLP, everybody was trying to hold the ball underwater with GLP. GLP is uh, uh, it's an LP that users provide on the GMX platform, which is a perpetuals trading platform. It's got about $500 million in it in GLP, and basically it's an index of crypto tokens. It's Bitcoin, ETH, Uniswap, Chainlink, DAI, Frax, USDC, and USDT. But most of it is USDC, ETH, and BTC, right? It's like kind of 50% stables, 50% not. Roughly, those are the targets. And there are a lot of people that thought that they could try and make that thing delta neutral. And they can't on chain. Off chain, it's possible because there's cheaper costs of carry, meaning the cost that you would pay to, run these types of strategies. But on chain, it's not tenable. And so we said, well, why would we do that? Let's go ahead and um, lever it. Let's go the other way. How
Lever it up.
we lever it up? We remove that stablecoin exposure. So now you're just getting a basket of assets, and it just happens to yield between 40 and 60% historically in ETH yield. And so then you take that, and then you say, well, where are you going to get the yield from? And we went to probably like five different lenders to try and figure out who we should, who could be a partner for this. And no one wanted to give us enough capital that we thought it'd be worth even revealing the idea to. So instead, we just said, screw it, we'll do it ourselves. So we put out JUSDC, which is a strategy where you can go and you can deposit USDC, and it will lend to the GLP vault. And in return, it's going to get 20% of the yield that is made from that leverage back as real yield for the USDC holders. And so, this is a way that if you think about it, folks can come in, and right now it's yielding, I think it's like 11% right now, but on DeFi Llama historically it's like 13 and change. Every Wednesday the numbers update because that's when GMX updates all their numbers. Um, but this is something where people are earning on what most people would consider maybe maybe not recently, but just historically, kind of the most stable coin. And it's not LPing with some other token. It's not getting additional yield on top of it in the form of some coin that you're just going to dump. It's just real yield. And it turns out that managing leverage a risk adjusted way through our bots and adjustable risk corridors that happen all automatically on chain to try and make sure that there's never liquidation on the USDC side is actually really tough to do unless you're pretty good at math and also you have great devs. And so I think the biggest moat we have, frankly, is just the mind share at the group. I mean, our strategy team is great, our devs are great. We're able to build stuff that other people, when they try and look at it or build it, they just kind of throw their hands in the air and say, no, there's so much rent seeking out there. I mean, how many times have you just seen somebody slap an auto compounder on something and there's
Yeah.
no game theory, there's no tokenomics that are interesting about it. There's no like, it's just not there. Or there's something where if it would just be, like R is probably the laziest thing we've ever done. And it's actually really complex, but it's actually the laziest conceptual thing that we've ever done. But the way that we're doing it is we're doing it in a way to be like a public good for Aura.
Right.
Um, and the idea is that we will then build on top of it. So we needed to build this so then in the future we could build on top of it. It's a Lego we need because we think Aura is going to be this incredible monster of a protocol in the future. So we're just taking our own personal beliefs. By the way, this all started because we couldn't find an efficient way to just own it in our treasury. And we just wanted to do it. And we said, you know what, well, let's just make it for everybody. Because I think everybody probably wants this thing, and that's it. Because there was already a Llama Air Force. There was already all of these CVX pounders, right? The problem is that no one ever did it for VLR except Badger. And with Badger,
Yeah.
when you LP it, you have to LP it with their token. And I don't know that everybody wants to own that token. They just want to own Aura, right? Okay, so we'll do it with Aura and ETH, and that's it. So our first bribe round happens this week. We're going to incentivize it. It's going to be great. Shreddy's going to have a lot of great marketing out on it, and hopefully it's interesting for a lot of folks. But you know, I think that's part of it. I think we have a great community too. I mean, I see a lot of folks in our community here. You know, they kind of keep us going, honestly. There was a time when we had like a stint where we hadn't released anything in like 6 or 7 months because we couldn't tell people that we were building something, that we kept getting shot down from all these different lenders. And then finally we did it ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Then we finally did it ourselves, and they're like, "Oh, it wasn't a rug after all." We're like, "No, it's not a rug. We're just literally hitting the bricks, taking meetings with everybody, trying to find somebody that'll give us more than like $1 million to play with." And you know, luckily JGLP was like 30 million, and I mean, I think it'll be a lot more. I think more and more people will realize this thing is a lot of potential for them. And you know, I'd rather be in JGLP than I would in just regular GLP. And you know, fun fact: when we did our testing on this thing, there were 8 tail events where if you were levered only 2x, you would have been liquidated in GLP. So, fun fact.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
you know, I mean, these are things that we just, again, we want to automate it and make it simple for people, because if we're not doing that, it's too complicated.